Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. We are getting ready to go here with our live stream. We are continuing with our weekly podcast about how to be a godly trader and what that means, both for ourselves and our trading. And as we're going to look at today, what does that mean for our family? Real quick, if someone would let me know how the sound sounds. I am using a backup microphone today. So fingers crossed that everything is going to actually turn out the way it's supposed to. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if it sounds better if I do this. I suspect it probably doesn't. But anyway, somebody let me know in the chat if it sounds all right, and we will continue on. All right. Fantastic. Sound is good. So today we are continuing our walk through trading with joy, and what that means for us as traders. So if I can get this up here. There we go. So today we're going to continue our second week on peace. So we have crossed over into the realm of what I like to categorize as the three godly gifts when it comes to we as humans, we as Christians. No one else I've ever heard do this, so this may or may not be 100% theologically correct, but I take those first three, love, joy, peace, and I set them off in their own little category. The other ones, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, those are ones that we as people can mimic. And what do I mean by mimic? Those are ones that we can fake. I mean, you can fake patience if you're still enough and your grin is acceptable enough. But we really can't fake. We really can't generate on our own love, joy, and peace. I firmly believe that those three, to know them fully, to appreciate them fully, to have them be fully expressed both within you and as a fruit that comes out of you, I think those come from God. So today we're venturing into, again, peace. And what does it mean to be a peaceful trader? So can you even have peaceful trading? By the way, again, if you want a free copy of the book, go to godlytrading.com/free book, and you get a free copy of the book. I do ask you to pay for the shipping, but I will be happy to send it to you for free so that you can follow along as we're doing this. We're almost, I don't know that we'll restart for the next group or we'll pick a different book. But here's a question for all of you out there. Has trading ever cost you sleep? In any format, whether you couldn't get to sleep because you had a trade that was on, or maybe you woke up in the middle of the night worried about it, or maybe you had a trade that did a thing that you didn't like for it to do, and that cost you some sleep. Has anybody out there ever lost sleep as a result of their trading? Now, I'm sure back in, Paul says sure. I'm sure back in, what was it, 2008, that lots of people had investments that cost them sleep and probably lots of other emotions. But I'm talking about specifically trading. I remember one night, and this is back when I was trying to make I was on the fence making the transition between day trading and swing trading. And I had done the thing you're never supposed to do, which is to take a day trade and say, you know what, I think I'll just keep it for another couple of days and hope. And I remember I had my phone propped up against my my alarm clock with the chart on. And I was watching tick by tick as I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm like, this is not going to work. I'm not going to get to sleep constantly watching this thing. So I said, you know what? I turned it off. I closed the trade. I went to sleep. The thing that was the most difficult for me to learn how to do as a swing trader was to go to sleep knowing that I had an open trade, knowing that my money was at risk. Of course, I have since learned that that's just part of risk management. You know it ahead of time and you plan for it ahead of time. This is what happens. This is why you don't take a day trade overnight, because the day trade is not set up for it. So the big question is, do you want to be at peace as a trader? And an even better question, what does it even look like? What does a peaceful trader look like? How does a peaceful trader operate? One of the things I like to do, and especially when I'm studying the Bible or wrestling with a concept that is not 100% clear, so okay, I don't know that I can fully imagine. I mean, when I was a day trader, the very idea of, if you had said, hey, do you want to be a peaceful trader? I would have said to you, I understand those two words are English. I understand them individually, but together, it doesn't compute. What does that even mean? Peaceful trader. So at the time you said, okay, if I can't grasp what that means, what does the opposite look like? So hang on one second. Let me do this. That's a little bit better. I like that better. So what would the opposite of a peaceful trader look like? And I honestly think that we can easily imagine what this would look like. Now, long gone are the days. I lost everybody. Long gone. I hope I'm still broadcasting. A thing just flashed up on the screen. Hope I didn't click a button. Long gone are the days of the pits at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange that you saw on movies like Trading Spaces and Trading Spaces, Trading Places. One of them is an HGTV show. One of them is a show with Dan Aykroyd. It's a movie. The people that were in there screaming and hollering, that's not necessarily being an unpeaceful trade. That's just the way they operated. So has this ever been you watching a trade? I remember, oh my goodness. Okay, so confession time I didn't expect to do. I remember one time, this was back in the mid 20-teens, and I was in a stock trade, and I had done everything right. I had put my take profit, my stop loss, and the thing gapped open below my stop loss. And for whatever reason, the broker I was working with didn't do anything. So I'm sitting there staring at it, and I was frozen. I mean, my expression was something similar. It was this halfway between angry and incredulous. What's going on? I mean, actually, what's funny is it took my eyes and my brain a minute to connect, because my eyes saw that price was here and my stop was here, and my brain's like, what am I looking at? How's that even possible? Anyway, I've been there. I've been here before, where you're like, Urgh. So then the question is, how does that affect everything around you? Because remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. There are very, very few of us who can successfully, long-term, compartmentalize everything and not let it affect the rest of our lives. I don't believe it's emotionally healthy. I suspect probably that it's going to have it's going to come out. You're either going to explode or you're going to have health problems. But just imagine how this mindset affects your family, affects your job. If you're not trading for a living, then you have another job that you're going to for a living. How does your trading affect your work? But oh my goodness, imagine if you are trading for a living. This is why, by the way, unless you work for BlackRock or you work for a hedge fund, unless you have a $1 gajillion in your account and you can afford to build up a buffer, I do not recommend anyone to make that leap from I'm going to work full time and then I'm going to transition to trading full time and have the profits from my trading pay my power bill next week. That's a recipe for disaster. Trading is a fantastic alternate stream of income, one of many. But I mean, imagine how this mindset, unpeaceful, affects your job. Probably will affect your health, especially if you're doing things to mitigate the pain, or that you're consuming caffeine. Like, oh my goodness, I saw a meme the other day. Somebody said I accidentally made my coffee with Red Bull, and I got halfway to work and realized I had forgotten my car. So anyway, but here at Godly Trading, our focus is on us as fathers, as providers, mothers as well. How does it affect our family? And I know for a fact that though they won't admit it or won't confess it to me, there have been so many days when my wife was telling the boys, just leave daddy alone for a little bit. We don't even know what's wrong, but we suspect something happened today in this trading. I mean, there's another good question. I didn't put it in the slides. Has your family ever been able to tell how your trading day went without you saying anything? Oh my goodness, I'm just going to move on because I don't even want to talk about that. So the question is, what does a peaceful trader look like? And I love this. My wife, who is a knitter, she's like, why you got to bring them knitters into this? Well, what is knitting doesn't necessarily equate to peacefulness, but you get the point. I mean, if you can sit there with a cup of tea and your knitting needles and not just want to jab one into your jugular when the price is going against you, that is what you're searching for. Which begs the question: how do you get there? How can you be? Can you be a peaceful trader? Yes, absolutely. That is something for all of us to shoot for. How can you get there? And I realized after I typed this slide up, and now that I had the song in my head, I realized that I had ripped off a Disney movie. Or is it Pixar? Who did Frozen anyway? Probably Disney. I suspect it was Disney. Let it go, let it go. Avoid it. So here's a simple 3-step process utilizing the fruit of the Spirit that we've already covered: self-control, patience, kindness, gentleness, and applying it day by day. So let it go, number 1. I said close that window. What does that mean? Whatever your trading happens to be for you, whether you're a day trader, whether you're a scalper and you're in and you're out in half an hour, whether you're a day trader and you open up your platform at 7 o'clock in the morning and you shut it down at 11, whether you're a swing trader like me and you open it up for 5 minutes a day and then you shut it down. However, whatever trading means to you, thank you, Paul. When you are done trading for the day, literally close that window. My wife talks about one of the issues that she has, and she thinks that this might be womankind in general, but it's for her specifically. When she has a to-do list, when she has projects, when she has things that work, she has these open windows in her head, and she literally equates them to the Windows universe. And she can't relax for the evening. She can't, enjoy a movie with me. We can't go on a date. All those things. I mean, she can, but she can't fully appreciate what's going on in her life until she closes those windows in her head. She's got, this memo she had to send out and this phone call she had to make, and she has to close these windows. So literally, step 1 is when you're done trading, close the window. And now, as you've got your hands on that windowsill and you're struggling to close this thing, sure, you're going to have all kind of voices screaming at you through that window. And you're going to want to leave it open and deal with them all. Close the window and walk away. Now, doesn't that sound like compartmentalization? We're going to get there. Step 1, for a brief period of time, compartmentalize. And when I say brief, I mean, a couple of weeks till we learn step 2. Close it down as best as you can. Don't think about it. And I know that's almost impossible. If you are a day trader, this will be easier because day traders are done. And that was honestly one of the reasons that I was attracted to day trading originally. So I thought, well, if I'm done for the day, I'm going to have to think about it the rest of the day. My money's not at risk. Nothing can hurt me. And I realized eventually that I was approaching trading from the standpoint of fear. What is the one way that I can insulate myself and keep myself from being hurt? Oh, I'll day trade. And then when I'm done, I'm flat. Nobody can hurt me. I was reading in Timothy this morning, 2 Timothy, chapter 1. Paul tells Timothy, we do not have a spirit. God does not give us a spirit of fear. That's not right. We do not have a spirit of fear. Somebody look up 2 Timothy chapter 1 and correct me, but God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, which begs the question, well, if God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, who does give us a spirit of fear? But anyway, I realized that my day trading preference was I was operating out of fear. So even though in my head, I'm closing that window, I wasn't. That window was open all day long. I wasn't in a single trade, and I'm still obsessing about it. So when you're done with your trading, close that window. Let it go, number 2. This is the transition from compartmentalizing to being a normal and then eventually a peaceful trader. Moment by moment, close the window. Let it go. Myron Golden, I heard this in a video last week. I think I put it in last week's video. Number 1, feel it. Number 2, let it go. And number 3, thank God you don't have to go through it alone. So you have a trade that you knew was going to work, and it did not work. You followed all your trade plans, and yet it sucked. Go outside and scream and holler at the moon for 2 minutes. Come back inside and let it go. learn to take that same process of, because it's just the 5 stages of grief, right? It goes from shock to acceptance. And I forget what the ones are in the middle are about. There's anger and bargaining and what. I mean, have you ever bargained with a stock chart? Is it just me? Has anybody else out there like begged and pleaded for a stock chart to do a thing? I know that I've never done that before. Never. Anyway, moving on. You just take that process and go from taking an hour to taking a minute, and you learn moment by moment to just let it go. The longer you trade a particular plan, and the longer that you see that this plan that I'm trading in real time, it really is lining up with what I expected it to do based on my testing, the more faith you're going to have in it, and the more freedom you're going to find in yourself to say, okay, yeah, like right now, I am going through a 4% drawdown month. It's adjusted. It's really a 1% drawdown month. And I was like, okay, I really would prefer not to be, but big deal. My back testing proved this was going to happen, and this is happening right now. I'm going through it. So you just learn moment by moment so that you don't have to close the window for the day. You can close it. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power. Oh, by the way, power also translates into ability. I love that. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but of, and so then who does? But of ability. And sound mind also means self-control. Man, how much of trading falls back on self-control? I am convinced that Paul put it last because he would have turned us all off if he'd said it first. That's just me. Again, gospel according to Pepper. Actually, I say that, and some preacher corrected me. The gospel is only salvation. Everything else is not the gospel. Lastly, step number 3, let it go day by day, platform by platform, trade by trade. Let it go moment by moment. And then most importantly, be prepared. We talked about this last week. Be anxious for nothing. Well, that's easy to say and a lifetime to learn. But in everything, and by the way, everything does mean everything. My favorite preacher in the world, famous Italian preacher from North Mississippi, he said, all means all, and that's all means. So everything, all, in everything, which includes your trading, by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving, how long did it take you in your trading to get to the point where you're thankful for the bad days? Are we even there yet? I don't want to talk about it. Let your requests be known to God, as if you didn't know them already, right? But there's a point to be made in you asking him. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. And if you can have peace in trading, that does in fact surpass understanding, human understanding. Will guard your hearts and your minds through Christ Jesus. We talked about it last week, and I have sped up, and I apologize. I'm going to slow down. That God's peace is the battery inside of you that powers the force field that protects you. Slightly more deliberate than this is this. I'm not going to read the whole passage, but just go to Ephesians 6:10-20, talks about the armor of God. And there, you're tough. Yes, it is. It is true. This one's interesting. So the armor of God, you got the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith. And my goodness, when it comes to our trading, that shield, and I've heard so many preachers talk about the Roman shield, and it had this double layer, and the flaming arrows would get put out because they soaked the outer layer. Anyway, there's a lot going on in that shield of faith. Even in your trading, that faith in what you're doing, based on, I love it. All right, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Well, that's your back testing in a nutshell as a Christian trader. The shield of faith that puts out those fiery arrows that your brain, not even the enemy, but your brain will fire at yourself somehow or another. But in this one, your feet are shod with the shoes of peace. So you're supposed to bring peace. There's a verse, blessed are the feet of him who brings peace, and I have butchered that verse. Get what I'm after. So this one's even harder. So, okay, fine. Peace is a battery, and it's protecting my force field, and I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to withstand the slings and the arrows. But the armor of God says I'm supposed to take these peace, put them on my feet, and walk out in the world and let people know, hey, I'm a trader. I had a bad day. Praise God. People are going to look at you like you're nuts. But again, as family men, the most important application of this is that we bring peace home with us and nothing else. When we walk in the door, your wife says, did you trade today? Because you don't look like you traded today. You look normal. right? I would love for my wife to have been able to say that way back when I was day trading. It never happened. But be prepared means going into the trading day prepared as if you are a soldier putting on armor, making sure your gun is fully loaded, making sure you got your bulletproof vest on. They don't go into battle without being prepared. If you're a football player, you don't go off on the field without being prepared. Why, oh, why would we as Christian traders go into the arena of the financial global market unprepared? That's just asking for disaster. It's asking for you to take it home with you. And this is the thing that, in the grand scheme of I am called to help fathers fulfill the mission from Proverbs that says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Yes, I do believe that is a financial inheritance, but there is also an emotional and a legacy aspect of it. There we go. This is going to require, you know what? I think I can. Yes, look at that. I can read it big because I can do that. How beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace, of them that bring glad tidings and good things. My wife, when I was a day trader, would never have accused me of bringing the gospel of peace home for my daily trading. Sad or glad tidings. They were tidings, but they weren't glad. We wouldn't go into any other arena in life unprepared for what's about to happen. We have to remember that daily when we trade. Even if you're a position trader, even if you place a trade once, I got a good friend. He does all of his weekly trading for 30 minutes on a Monday night. Even if that's you, and you're going clickety once a month. Maybe you're trading monthly options. You still have to walk into that situation where you're going to sit down, analyze your charts, see what's going on, go clickety. Still need to be prepared, even if you're not going to do it but 5 minutes a month. Because the enemy's prowling around like a roaring lion, ready to see who he may devour. And if you don't have yourself ready, you're going to be the one being devoured. Now, by the way, I had a preacher a long time ago dive really deep into the English language and said like is a simile, like or as, and it means, not, but close to. So the enemy's not a roaring lion. He just looks like a roaring lion. Anyway, so all of that to say this that we said last week, whatever you do not do this alone. Don't do it without the Holy Spirit protecting you both inside and out. But also don't do it alone without other people around you. I love this verse. It's iron sharpens iron. And by the way, has anyone ever wondered at the physics of how one piece of iron can sharpen another piece of iron without damaging it itself? I mean, it's one of those things that God puts out there that I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but I don't really want to figure it out. As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. I had a group, bless their hearts, back in 2018. I was learning a new strategy, and I went to this trading group. And every day, they call it the Great Pepper Meltdown of 2018. It was like from February to March, every day for 60 days, it was just loss after loss after loss. And it was an experience that I hope to never repeat. And so every day I'm in there and just venting my spleen, and bless their hearts for not kicking me out. But they were there to listen to me, pat me on the head, said, I hear you. I have been there before. It will be okay. You will get through this. And in some ways, that is the only way to get through this, because we can say all we want. Hey, put on the full armor of God. But unless you've got a community around you that says, hey, I know that you trade the Asian session of Forex. It's coming up on 7:00 p.m. Are you prayed up yet before you go into tonight's session? That's the kind of community that you need around you to help you through this. So, speaking of which, if anybody out there needs that type of community, we got one on Facebook, free community there. Just go to Godly Trading. You can just go to Facebook and search for the term Godly Trading. You'll find our Facebook group. We're still running our free month on Godly Trading Pro. But above all that, guys, I just want you to remember that trading is not to be taken lightly. I was at a conference early this week for 2 days, and I was talking to some friends that are some colleagues from around the state in my position at various other districts. And there's, oh yeah, I dabbled in this, and I bought a little Bitcoin here, and I did a little thing here. So they're just dabbling at it. that's not what we're talking about. If you are serious about this, then you need to be serious about this. And if you are one of those who comes home every day and your family can tell what your day was like before you've said a word, surround yourself with the Holy Spirit inside you. If that made sense. But surround yourself with people who are going to help you. Understand that if nothing changes, nothing's going to change. But the good news is we are here for you. I'm here every single week. By the way, it's going to be Wednesdays at 4:30, not 4. My schedule here where my studio has changed a little bit. But I'm here every single week. If you need anything, reach out to me. It's pepper@godlytrading.com. Email me for any reason. And with that, I will see everyone out. Let's turn my slides off. I will see everyone out there next week. I appreciate y'all being here. See you next time.